Well, hi everybody. It's another Conversations with, and I'm Dick Vaughan, and of course, with me is my Prince Pundit.
I will take that. I love that.
Prince Pundit, Richard Morchoe, and Richard has an incredible knack of keeping me in turn, and keeping me right, just like that.
I couldn't do it without you.
Anyway, I want to start off today because I just saw a report, and I will tell you, I laughed because I'm not surprised. I don't know whether it's the Globe, the Herald, or Channel 5, but one of them now has a news story that we have 200 high-ranking or higher-ranking state police officers, sergeants, lieutenants, captains, and a couple of colonels who have filed a retirement.
Wicked shocker there. Go ahead. I know you. I know where you're going.
So
Go get them.
No, let me finish. 200. Now, the average is about 5 a year, 6 a year. And they have a lady, one person in the entire service of the state police, a lovely lady who does the retirements. They come in and file, and she fills all the forms out, presents it to the retirement board, and walks them through it. Because on average, they have, or some years a little higher, but it's anywhere from 5 to 20 a year retire. Well, not only we have 200 scrambling to retire, but they're sending her gifts because she can only do one at a time, and they each want to be next. So she gets candy every morning and flowers. So I'm looking at this thing, and then you read the article, and the article states this, that if in fact they have their retirement and they're found guilty, in 9 out of 10 times, all the retirement board does is cut it back. So, for instance, if they got a $120,000 retirement, the retirement board will knock it back to $80,000 and leave it stand. Now, here's the catcher. But if you're not retired and you get in trouble, your name comes up in front of the judge, you lose that pension. That's an automatic gonzo. So we have about 200 who must have had their hands in the cookie jar who are scrambling for retirement. And I think it's hysterical.
Well, think of it also is in a roundabout way, it's actually an admission of guilt.
Oh, of course.
I'm not actually. I'm trying to be kind by saying it in a roundabout way.
Yeah.
It's a blatant admission of guilt. And why aren't they being indicted right away? What's happening?
That's my point. I'm glad you brought that, because my whole point in this thing is what's going on with the Secretary of Public Safety, who's over the state police. And the governor, he's complicit in this thing. He's looked the other way, and you got a colonel.
Wait a minute. My pacemaker. You're finally saying something about Charlie Baker that doesn't make him safe?
I am frustrated and disappointed in His Excellency because he's looked the other way.
Well, see.
And now I'm sure, and I got to tell you this, because I've been in that office when big decisions were made. And I'm telling you, they are scrambling. They don't know what to do with this baby. And so rather than do something, the answer sometimes is don't do anything. And that, But in the meantime, he's got two major problems. Two. We got close to 200 officers scrambling for retirement that all have to be replaced.
Well, you and I are going to take the police exam. We can do it.
Beyond my time.
No. Duty calls.
Well,
Duty calls. You want to be like those Roman senators who stood when the Gauls were there. And
oh, please.
you and I
I've
the
got
call.
to
We're being
someday.
called.
Someday I'll wear my Roman outfit to the meet. I have a beautiful. I was the. I'm of course a mummer.
I know that, yeah.
And I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago, we did Hails of Caesar. And our captain was Caesar. And he was all in white. And I am all in black and purple. And I got a body armor, and I got a helmet that comes right down, and I got purple feathers on top of it, and I got a big purple cape and a sword. And I was the head of the guard. And I marched and protected that guy no matter where he went, even though all we had was banjos.
Well, you know.
But the point I'm making, I want to wear that someday, and I'll come in here and shock you with that outfit on, because
But you told me now you won't shock me, because I've been expecting it every
No,
time.
you never know when with me.
Well, that will be that, yeah. You will plan it.
But the point,
you'll lull me to sleep.
Getting back to the whole thing, we got a governor, and I know what they're doing. They're running for cover. They don't know where to go with this one, and where to even start, because he's got two major problems. He's got 200 guys who had their hands in the cookie jar, who are scared to death they're going to get caught, and are trying to get out of there and protect their pensions, which we're paying for. And he's going to replace them all. Now, the problem is, where's he replace them with? Who does he replace them with? The guys that are doing it now. Okay? So he's at the point where what they really have to do is clean house. They've got to go out and bring somebody in from the outside,
Yes.
instead of promoting from within.
Exactly.
And get a colonel of the state police who came from Virginia or Wyoming, your favorite town.
That's going to be where the capital is.
Yeah.
We'll be doing the show from there.
Yeah,
in the
that's
dead
right.
of winter, freezing, or whatever.
But I mean, that's what's got to happen.
Yes, exactly.
Because if it doesn't, nothing's going to change.
That is so true. I mean, this is
And you know,
Massachusetts.
I used to have a big sign. I had my radio stations, because I used to do my own sales meetings for the salespeople. And I had a sign that said, if you always do what you've always done, then you'll always get what you've always got.
And that is true with the state troopers. We have got, you are exactly right. So we have to find a colonel who's been running at least a big section of a state troop, state police in another state, who's known for his honesty.
Oh, well, not only that, or you bring in someone and make them secretary of public safety to the governor, who is from another state, who doesn't know one single person in the state police, who could care less and knows what's going on and cleans house.
Yes.
And then, but the bind they have, and this is the biggest backup problem. Where are they going to get replacements? Well, if they take anybody they've already got, they've already got their hand in it.
Exactly.
All right, listen, if one state trooper does it and knows it, they're all doing it. And that's not true. I'm sure there was guys out there who are great, dedicated state police officers.
Wasn't there that guy, I don't know if he was a state trooper or a municipal policeman, that somehow a judge's daughter tried to,
Yeah.
and he called her on it, and he blew the whistle on it. All right, if he's a just a patrol or a regular town
Yeah.
policeman. Take him and put him in, make him a
Oh,
sergeant.
no. You don't understand. Take them. They got to have an exam for that.
See, this is
In order to get 3 stripes, you want to become a sergeant, you have to take an exam. And then certain things count. So you got to be,
there's got to be a system where the governor can commission somebody from the ranks.
the governor can commission anybody he wants. He's the governor.
Okay.
I know for sure.
Here, we both know, Dick, this isn't going to happen. We both know, as you said,
Let me tell you.
we're getting to get what
Let me
we've
tell you,
always got.
one of the biggest discussions, and it was an argument I had with the governor that I was working with, was over the state police. He gets elected. We have a meeting now. We're putting cabinets together and stuff. And he gets himself elected. And he says, I'm not going to have any state police in the governor's office, and I'm not going to have one drive me. That's foolish. I can get a kid to drive me for a lot less money. I want him out on the highway where he belongs, not driving the governor all over the state. See, Mike, you got to be protected, governor. You got to have somebody with you. No way. I don't need. Who's going to bother me? About 80,000 people. but at any point, and we had this ongoing discussion. I think I've shared this with you before. Finally, what we did, we got 3 undercover troopers that lived in Brookline, because he used to get on the T. He wouldn't even take a state car.
I remember that.
And he used to take the T every morning. And we had this, and we finally, I mean, Kitty was a wreck. It's only a matter of time because she's on the front page of the Herald, sitting on the floor of a T train with some clown looking over him with his fist up, and his papers scattered all over the train. And we used to kid about this vision. But I'm telling you, I am telling you, they are scared to death. They don't know where to go. And many times, you don't go anywhere. You hope it'll work itself out. And by the way, it certainly will, because even if she could do one a day, and state workers, they don't do one a day of anything.
No.
So that's overwork.
Do you know what happens in the state? You know how they punish you if you come in late for work? They make you go home early in the afternoon. You didn't know that, did you?
No.
A state worker told me that.
But the point is that it is to the point where they have the academy where they have to go to become a state police officer, and that's where they got to. Whoever they'll take over has to clean up the academy, make sure there's no moles in the academy, that all the experienced state troopers that are there teaching and bringing in the new classes every year, they bring in a new class, are all clean as whistles. Because if there's one mole up there, oh, and by the way, you can get all the overtime you want, get paid for it if you just know how to do it. Let me explain how that works. You see what I'm saying?
And that's one of the classes they specifically have is how to get your overtime pay.
Oh, yeah.
Even if you missed an hour or two.
No one's kicking.
Yeah.
No one's counting. The biggest kick I got out of it all, they had Troop E. That was a Mass Pike. Now, way back, they used to have green and white Chrysler, New Yorker station wagons, and they were Massachusetts Turnpike. They were transferred from the state police, and they were the Mass Turnpike Police. So they were under control of the Massachusetts Turnpike. Well, they didn't like that. So they eventually became Troop E. And you can tell where they are by the little letter on their plate would be 842E. so you knew they were assigned. That's how I used to tell when they'd speed. If they didn't have a little letter after them, you knew they weren't on the turnpike. At Troop E. Well, when the scandal broke, the big decision that was made was they went to the headquarters of the Turnpike Police and they took the letter E down. So it said, Massachusetts State Police Troop. Well, they had to have something up there, so they put up an F. And then said, we cleaned house. All right? And then the House and Senate just spent, in fact, it was late coming out. Normally that has to be done by July 1st. Spent weeks and months arguing over nickels and dimes of a $42 billion budget. Nobody worried about the cops stealing the money.
No, of course not.
No, not one senator or representative even cared. They were more concerned about how much money they were going to get to Spencer Library and how much money they were going to get for that new road that they want to put over in West Brookfield and how much money they were going to get for, I don't know what, for schools, transportation. And that's very important.
It is.
That's part of your job. But not to look at, and then fight over those budgets when you know $2 billion of it is all waste.
What can you do? But have you noticed what season it is now in Massachusetts? You think it's summer? It's roadwork season.
Oh.
Have you noticed this? This has been the biggest roadwork season I've ever observed in my. I've been around.
Yeah.
But you've been around. You can't go 2 intersections.
No.
Well,
We happen to have it where I live at Glen Echo Lake. The funniest one of all was they put the big flashing sign up. Now, 50% of the people who live at Glen Echo are from Connecticut, New York, and New Hampshire. They're summer residents who have a summer home who come down for the summer. And I say 50, it may be 40, it may be, 39. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Plus, Brookfield Road's a cutoff to get over to 49 to get up to 9.
Yep.
When you're coming down Route 20, if you're going up to Spencer or Brookfield where you live, you know not to drive all the way into Sturbridge to go up.
Right.
What a great little road that's become. So, big sign goes up. Effective July 1st. Did you hear what I just said? Bridge will be closed. July 4th weekend. Going to close the bridge. We would have had traffic. And obviously somebody called them up and said, for God's sake. So they moved it to July 6th, they started. But that's got to be a summer project. Oh, this is a little culvert, and you'd think they were putting up the span over San Francisco Bay.
You would think they were building the pyramids.
Yeah.
It's.
And every time I drive by to go to my little post office, there's never anybody there. So they're either waiting for parts, or they pulled them off and they're doing another job. But you just, to your point, my daughter came to visit me the other day, lives in Newport, said the same thing. Excuse me, said the same thing to you. You just said, Dad, why do the highway departments always wait until the summertime? When everybody's out traveling and going away weekends, why do they, like the Mass Pike, digging up bridges every weekend all summer long?
Yeah.
When the traffic on the turnpike is heaviest.
Well, they don't want to be out in winter.
I understand, but this fall and spring.
Well, I wish I had an answer for you, Dick, but I don't.
It's just like when they closed all the toll booths. They didn't work They didn't work in the fall and the winter. They spent all summer taking out those little toll booths and all that. That's when they did that work. But you know what else makes me laugh? While we're on the highway department, state highway department, Mass Turnpike, I got to give it credit. Under the old MTA, the Turnpike Authority, that road was great. They kept it maintained. Mass Dot takes over, and we got potholes and clumps of stuff, and they're doing one piece at a time. And I'm saying to myself, nothing ever changes.
You don't kill the job. Don't kill the job. Take your time.
Yeah, and it's scary. Anyway, what you and I started this whole thing about was the brouhaha that I think is going on in Washington, and you think there's nothing wrong.
I didn't know. No, that is not fair. That is not fair. I yield.
You jumped poor me. You jumped all over me because I said, I can't believe some of these senators who went to college and went to school and representatives and some of the outlandish statements that they're making. And you were right after me. And when I named a few, what did he really say? And I said, well, he indicated that he's not going to participate and that they're not going to do anything about it. And he doesn't think. And in my opinion, and I have no grounds for the opinion other than what I think, based on what I've been through, sitting in those offices in my career, that they're protecting the former president of the United States a lot more than we think.
Well, maybe they are, but Speaker Pelosi did not allow the minority party to name who they were.
Oh, I understand.
Do you think that's, everybody wants to talk about, quote, our democracy. That's hardly a democratic.
No. I mean, she didn't want Jim Jordan on there.
So?
And Nunes on there. I understand that. I'm just mentioning the names. And so she didn't get them on there by taking it over. Now, was she wrong? Yes. In my opinion, she was wrong. Let him give her who he wants. They still had a majority of 6 over their 5.
Yeah.
But
somebody might have asked some embarrassing questions. And I heard that, what's his name, the guy? And he was giving the Democrats, the people, what do you call it, the cops, a kiss. Now, you just spent a good deal of time speaking about our state police and how they may be less than completely honest. Do you think these cops are anything but hacks?
Oh, I like to believe. I have some great friends who are state troopers. I know them personally.
Yes, we do.
And I would be devastated if his name appears in the paper. I mean, I would be devastated. It would almost be a betrayal, because this guy I love as a human being. Nicest guy, but a tough former Marine, tough guy. Pulls me over one day. Pulls me over and gets to and of course I had whatever car I had. They have shaded windows now in them, as you know. And when I put the window down, he says, "Oh, it's you." I said, "Yeah, what'd you think it was?" And he laughed. And he says, you got those shaded windows, those are illegal. I said, well, he said, "Did you put the stuff on?" Because the kids put it on. No, I said, that original equipment. Oh, okay, you're all set. We laughed. But I had to tell you a great story about the same fella. I'm driving down the turnpike, one of the hospital, this is a couple of months back, to a doctor's appointment at MGH. And I look up and I see a trooper coming in the car. So I pull into the second lane, and the trooper goes by. And a few seconds later, my phone rings. And it's him. Where you going? Well, I got to go to the Mass General. Oh, I'm going there too. He's not Mass General, but I got to go to a court hearing down there. I'm bringing some thug in that I arrested, and they're hearing it in Boston at federal court. And I got to be there as a witness. You want a police escort? I'll put the lights on, and I'll get you to Mass General faster than you've ever been there in your life. I said, no, I'm all set. You sure? I'll just flip the switch and off we go. No, I'll get there. I got plenty of time. And he wouldn't have done it. I mean, that's the funny part. And I knew he wouldn't. But I'd be crushed. I would probably cry for the guy to think that of all the people I know, and he's just one of a few. I know a couple of guys that are sergeants. One guy used to date his mother in high school, and he's now retired, but he was on there for years and years. And they're good, clean guys, you know. But as you and I have discussed so many times, Richard, they're human beings, and we're all subject to the frailties of honesty, you know, of doing things. You know, here's the thing, and I say this to people all the time. Nobody has the right to give someone the chance to be wrong. Nobody has the right to give you the chance to be wrong and say to you, it's okay if you do it. Go ahead, I'm going to look the other way. All right? But it's done all the time.
Do you know the words of that other great Irishman other than you, Oscar Wilde? There is only one way to get rid of temptation, and that is to give in to it. And, you know, you're asking people who probably wondering, can I make the mortgage this month?
Yeah.
You're asking them to not take life just a little easier. And you do it once.
I always remember, as I was a kid, you remember penny candy?
Oh, yeah.
You know, and so anyway, I always remember them. And you know, little Tootsie Rolls and little black babies, they used to call them. And you give them the penny and you get a bag of candy.
Yep.
You could pick any 5 or whatever it
Yeah.
was. And I'm always reminded of that because you were so tempted to take 6. Especially if the guy wasn't looking.
Ah, gee, yep.
But you never took that chance because what if he looked in the back?
There you
And
go.
every once in a while, the owner of the store, name was Phil Faulkner, it was a drugstore with you know, the old drugstores.
Yeah.
But he had a whole candy section. And every once in a while, Phil would open the bag and look in. And it took me years to realize what he was really doing. He was letting you know that he checks the bag. And so you, as much as you wanted to take 6, you put it back.
That's good. Yep. Kept you honest.
Kept you honest. And those are the missing people today. The guys that kept you honest.
Well, now there's a great conundrum when you think about it. Were you honest, or were you just under control? Now, me, I was completely on. You know. But yeah,
You can't give somebody the right to be wrong.
that's true. Exactly.
I don't care who you are.
That's true.
Yep.
You're right.
And speaking of being right to be wrong, that brings us to the end of a great program.
Great program.
I enjoyed
Pleasure
it.
to be here.
I enjoyed it, and it was great. And give my best to the gang at Long Hill.
The Long Hill.
You are folks and other conversations with.